Jay.
I'm Nay.
Welcome to H8te Our Love podcast, where we discuss all things in life, mostly relationships and stuff like that. But we also give a business tip, so make sure you stick around to hear that business tip. It can help you excel in your business. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook at Hate. That's H, the number 8te Our Love. That's on Facebook, Instagram again, and YouTube. So what's up?
Hey. So
How are
before
you?
I'm okay. Let's get this thing rolling, and y'all know how we do. Loosening it
This
up,
is how she wants to do
get
it.
the conversation flowing.
She's gonna be drunk before the night over. Whoever took tequila and wine is a dangerous combination, if I remember correctly.
It remind me of T-Pain.
Everybody don't know what T-Pain is. Tell them, what's T-Pain? Taylor Sport and orange juice. Taylor Sport.
All right, we got
get
that out
into
the
it.
way. We do that to make sure that we loose, get the conversation going. Y'all can see that it's working. And if y'all see my eye leaking, don't talk about me. Y'all know it's allergy season and it's real disrespectful these days. So you might catch me doing this a couple times, a little crust, don't judge me. All right, we can get into today's discussion. And it's one of my favorite discussions, honestly, especially with the song Love Language.
I don't think
So
I ever heard that song.
I'll let you listen to it.
Who was by?
SZA.
Oh, if it says it, then I heard it.
Here you go.
I heard everything says it got.
So our discussion today, it is actually one that is very important to a relationship. It is one that is very important to understanding each other, working on your communication, building an empire, building trust, and just really like to succeed in the relationship is therapy. So we're in therapy. And it's not a bad thing, and it didn't come about because of something bad. Like there was nothing detrimental that happened in the relationship where we felt like the our thing was let's test this out to see like if we talk about some things that come up and will it help. But just because we did it for the one reason we got there, and it's opened up so many other things, and not like negative things, but it's opened up so much more good. And I think we've been doing so much better in our relationship. It's a good thing.
I think that it's absolutely necessary, especially for like people when you've been together for a long time, like we've had, or you growing. Even if you ain't been together a long time, honestly, I think that it's something you probably should get into, because you literally trying to blend two different people. Yeah, we together. Yeah, we live in the same house. Yeah, we grew up together and stuff like that. But you still wind up having different experiences, or you have your own thoughts in life that make you two different people. And
And your family traditions and how you brought
yeah,
up,
family traditions, how you brought up, the things you was exposed to prior to meeting each other.
or even just how you operate within the family. The family dynamic can be different
Right.
sometimes as well
And
too.
and then you got add kids in the mix, add jobs in the mix, add
And maturing within the relationship together in the mix as well, because you become different people than you were as a kid.
Right.
Like kid me, when he met me, is a completely different person now who I am. So I'm a whole new person technically.
right. Kid, you was much more nice and sweet to me. That was my baby. Yeah, but I think it's
I was about
important
to
to go
throw a
to.
jab
So
in there, but I just let it go. Therapy, see?
yeah,
I threw you
so I,
off.
I think it's necessary. I think everybody should take some type of part in it.
And even if you don't do it as a couple, I think.
Personally, having that person too. I think my biggest fear is with me being therapy. So probably I'm gonna say this. So when we first before we got married, we was going through marriage counseling, right? And I backed out of the marriage counseling. And the reason why I backed out of the marriage counseling because I felt like the person who was doing the marriage counseling was I don't want to say on her side, but I felt like he they wasn't a disconnected party. You know what I mean? Like there were some things like his institution, her family pretty much was like,
It was biased.
yeah,
I don't know why you tiptoeing.
they controlled that
You
joint,
felt
man.
like it was
So
biased.
she set me up and had me going to this counseling that was biased, and I'm sitting up there and I'm listening to this stuff, and I'm like, ain't no way this can be true. Like so for me it kind of like took me away from it. Even now going into counseling, we have a female therapist, black female therapist, and even now like I still think about it like because everybody people bring their own biases, you know what I mean? Whether it's implicit, explicit bias, they bring their own biases to conversations sometimes. So it's like, is this person going to be disconnected? Let's figure out. And it's not that I expect her to agree with me all the time. No, I'm fine. I could take the conversation where she doesn't agree with me or she says, well, how about you try this, that, and a third? It's not that. It's just like, I don't want a person that's just going against me because they have other thoughts about other things in their mind. You know what I mean? Like, and that's my biggest fear with therapy. What about you? You got any fears with therapy?
Um, I think I only had one fear with therapy, honestly, and I felt like my biggest fear was that we would come out of not my. I thought this would happen, but my biggest fear of what could possibly happen was we come out of there thinking that it would probably be best for us to separate. That was like a huge fear of mine, like. And I don't mean that to be like we ended on like bad terms or anything like that, but like I'm gonna be honest, like our last therapy session we just had, it was not a good one. We weren't in a good space. We were just having like I don't know. It was like it was one of those like we finally actually went to therapy in the midst of an argument, if that makes sense. So it was rough. It was a little rough in there. But
I don't think it was rough for me. The
this
way
is a
I,
part of why we argue. So let me just have my moment.
all right, I'm gonna be quiet.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. I don't have no fears really, honestly, with therapy. I came to this. My thing is, this is my person. This is my human being. This is my everything. So I am willing to do and try any and everything to make sure that we are both happy because that is a huge thing in the relationship. And I think sometimes people start to get a bit selfish, but I want to make sure that my spouse is happy in this relationship. I don't want you to be miserable here. So I think that I love therapy. I like going. I love the conversations we have and AK like I feel like
It's
every
always a
episode
disclaimer.
I was about to say every episode I feel like this is gonna be a disclaimer.
It's probably
Y'all
like
know we
some
have kids.
Fortnite or
That's the
something
whole
like that.
point of the podcast to give you all the real, give you all the family, give you all the marriage, give you all the ups, the downs, the lows, the highs, all of the above. He on the game. And that's what you're gonna hear. So sorry, but he got his headset on, door closed, so he don't hear this conversation, but y'all gonna
Right,
hear his.
right.
But just to get back to it, I mean, I actually love therapy. I think this is the most consistent we've been. I think it brings a lot out of us. I think it makes us vulnerable because I do think we are both we have our own ways, and it makes me talk. It makes me listen. It makes me understand him better, and I think the same for him. It makes him actually hear me. It makes him actually understand me. And even at home, outside of the therapy session, even how we communicate now, we use different terms to each other. We use different words. Like if I say something, or even if he says something, and we going right off, before that'll just trigger an argument because like, what are you talking about? It's not even what I meant. Da-da-da-da-da. Now it's like, babe, you listened to respond just now. You didn't listen to hear me because that's not what I said. And just those small little changes make a huge difference in like our communication. But kind of like, unless you had something to add, I was going to kind of go into like, it's the same topic but like a subset of the topic, which is
No,
love languages.
yeah, no, I don't have nothing. But go ahead. Yeah, you can actually jump right into that.
Yeah, so love languages was something that was actually brought up, and she made me think. She made him think. Like, what are your love languages? Have y'all even discussed that with each other? And I think that was like a shocker for me because I'm like, dang, we are in this relationship, but I don't think we don't have those sit downs where we kind of like to each other. Like, what is your love language? What do you want out of me? What do you want me to provide to you? Those are like huge questions that came up. Like something in, and I don't want you to feel like I'm putting you on the spot, but he assumed certain love languages for me or assumed certain things, and I'm like, no, that's not. And vice versa. Like I learned things from him. Even like, so love languages. Like, do y'all have that conversation in your relationship? Like, or did you just assume? Cause I know him, I know her. Like,
I think a lot of people assume that they know the person,
yep,
and I think a lot of people give off what they expect the other person to want, and that's kind of like it could be detrimental in a sense because you really hide in that person. And I don't remember where I seen it at, but it was like people go and people give what they expect the other person wants, and once they finally unleash and show their true selves, the person don't even like them because they weren't able to be who they were from the beginning. So I do like that a lot of people nowadays are giving that straight up, yo, this is what I'm into, this is what I like, this is what I expect out of a relationship conversation. So that might be why, people say it's kind of harder to find people out here because people not just settling for anything. But I think when you're in a relationship also, you also need to have those check-ins periodically to say, yo, what's this? What do you expect? What do you want? Has anything changed? Has anything changed with you mentally, physically, sexually? Like
absolutely.
what's going on? You know what I mean? Because whatever people change all the time. I think they said the average person changes like every 5 years or something like that, 5 or 10 years. So you're gonna change if you're being in a relationship for a long time.
I think something very important you said was check-ins. Um,
And she's still way better at check-ins than me.
I want to always make sure that my man is happy. And that's not me being
Something just popped in my head, but I ain't gonna say it.
like people always like, I don't know, sometimes they take it as like this, like you he control you, or I don't know how to explain it, but like, no, I'm my own person. I go to girls' night. I go hang with the girls. I do stuff on my own. Do stuff with my kids. Have my own job. So I'm my own person. But a part of who I am and how I am and how he is to me, it makes me want to make sure that he's okay. I like to make sure that he's fed. I like to make sure that he's satisfied. I like to make sure that he's happy. I just think that's so important in a relationship. Like, are you even happy here? Because life gets you. You start getting busy. You start kind of just doing your day to day, and it just becomes like the norm. And you forget to really check in. Like, hey, like I know it's been a little busy. Like we haven't really like talked. Are you okay? Like, is there anything you need from me? Is there anything that I can do better? Is there anything that I could change to make life easy? Is there anything that I could substitute? Is there anything that I can take on from you to make life easier on you if I have the capacity to do so?
Yeah, I think that's very important. As far as what the check-ins, and then really just like being open to understand what that person is saying, because a lot of times, man, we be so closed off. And a lot of times a lot of people think that, like how you said, like when you check in, like submission, this kind of can probably go into another thing. It's like submission is natural, but just because I'm the male and she's the female. That's not how I define, or that's not submission. It's not submission because my wife wants to make sure I'm okay. Because I also want to make sure she's okay. It's not submission for her to want to make sure I'm certain things are handled for me, because I also make sure that things are handled for her. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that we submit to each other in our own ways, and that's
Absolutely.
part of it. And that's the dynamic of a relationship. It's not, I heard conversations and stuff about being an alpha male. Two alpha male and an alpha female can't exist in the same environment. And I don't agree with that, because I know for a fact that I'm alpha. I know for a fact that she's alpha. But I think if you're truly an alpha person, you can exist in a room with another alpha because you're goal oriented. Alphas are goal oriented. So if the goal means that I have to be in this room with this other alpha in order to make to a goal, that's fine. Alpha men are in the same room all the time. It don't always mean conflict.
Uh,
What you think? Difference of opinion?
Not really difference of opinion, but I believe you said goal oriented, and I could be alpha. I am alpha. We know that, but I think the way that our relationship is going, I'm kind of, and I don't want to use the term forced, but I feel like the way that our relationship is going is kind of pushing me to be a lot less alpha in the relationship only, though, if that makes sense. So they keep talking about this soft girl era stuff, but I kind of feel
I
like that's kind of the case. Like, I'm still alpha everywhere else, and I'm still alpha when it comes to him, and he have to check me. And I'm learning that when I'm checked, to listen and kind of like, and I had my mess ups, whereas like,
Yeah, but see, that's what for me.
but
Go ahead.
no, you're fine. I'm sorry, but it's just for me. I'm. It's not like a complete submission for me yet, but I'm just.
But
I can't
s-
explain how you like. It's
but see,
so
this
hard
where
to
this
try
where
to explain
this
to
where
people who you
this
are to
this
me.
this where I'm gonna say it at though. What's not complete submission? Because for me, you make sure everything I need is handled. If you check on me in the mornings, you check on me, you make sure I'm fed, you take care of the kids, you pretty much, if I say something, you listen to whatever I pretty much say. Sometimes you might have a difference of opinion, but that doesn't mean that you're not alpha because you're being able to handle those tasks. That means that at the end of the day, you know that what I'm doing is goal oriented. I'm doing stuff that's pushing us towards one side of the goal. You're handling stuff that means that's bringing us to the other side. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm bringing us halfway, you taking us the other half. So I don't think that that's taken away from you being alpha. I think you're super alpha. Alpha to me is not a person that needs to go back and forth with somebody when they're being told something. That's not alpha. Alpha to me is that when you're given this task, can you complete this task? Can you take control when necessary to do certain things? Even if you look at a wolf pack, like alphas in a wolf pack, it's task oriented. Yeah, they need people to do tasks, but at the end of the day, they walk in the back. You know what I mean? So I just think of it differently. And even with the whole relationship thing of two alphas not being able to be together, yeah, you snarky, like you definitely talk your trash, and sometimes you give a little lip service that's just like. But if you notice, like, I'm not super loud. I try not to be super loud. I try not to be super like, I'm not I don't need to roar all the time. That's not alpha to me. Them boys that be yelling and gotta be that's not alpha.
That's fake alpha to me, though.
I think
That's
I see that as that's a
more,
defense mechanism.
yes, that's more ego.
Yeah.
That's
So even
more,
when you get your stuff back, I just think that's one from you being, from that side of Philadelphia. And I just think, everybody say if you're not from Philly and everybody say North Philly girls are like, what I mean, crazy. But I think that's part of it. But a lot of it, I think you had to assume certain rules in order to grow. You know what I mean? You had to assume certain things in order to get to where you at. So with you assuming those certain things, I understand that I have to break down those barriers. Now, it take a little long because this soft girl era I've been, carrying and putting forth for you to, do your thing. But at the same time, it's like, yo, all right, it's time. You know what I mean? So humble yourself, shut your mouth, and keep it pushing. But it's the same with me. I shut my mouth sometimes when she's talking. You have to. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to shut your mouth and listen to a
I
person.
think, and people, you would not be. It's so surprising to know how hard that is. Like until you have to do it. To really shut up and just listen and take like what the person is telling you. Sometimes it's very, very hard to do something that seems so simple as a task. Extremely hard.
I also think that's how people position it to yourself. Like, I don't want to be the one that had to tell my wife shut up. Like, what? Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
that's not
See, that's
it.
a trigger for me. Don't tell me to shut up.
Yeah, I don't talk like that. Anyway, I don't want to
No,
tell
you
you to
don't
shut
talk
up.
like that.
I don't want to tell you to shut up.
But see, that's
I
the
could say,
thing.
babe, like, yo, be quiet. Like, let me tell you what I'm trying to say.
Now, if we arguing and we going at it, he might be like, shut up. Like, all right, yeah. But, like, on a normal basis, you're not going to just tell me because I'm talking, like, shut up.
And
Like,
she get mad because she said that the way I argue like the way I'm talking to y'all now is the way I argue. I
and
might
it
talk.
pisses me off. It pisses me off because as y'all hear him in the background yelling, that's more of my kid. Like I'm a loud person, and it's not me being loud to like get attention. It's not me loud like to have everybody hear me, because I can be quiet in certain situations when I know I need to be quiet and take in information more than use my words. But naturally, I laugh loud. Naturally, I like if we're arguing, I'm getting like I'm enraged. Like so I'm not I tell him all the time it's like you give me like sarcastic asshole. Like
But I'm not being a sarcastic asshole. For me, is that I don't need to. I could sit at a boardroom table with somebody, or I could have a full blown argument out in the street, and me and a dude is about to go at it, right? Which I don't even get engaged into. But
I
I'm
say we
not
don't do
sitting
that.
there. No, I'm not. But I'm not sitting there yelling back and forth with you across the street, or even if we standing next to each other. I'm not sitting there yelling for the whole block to hear what's going on. No, this is me and you talking, not everybody. So therefore, I could talk to you in this voice and still get my point across.
Oh, that just made me like think of a whole nother topic too.
Shit, I
In a
thought that made you horny. I,
relationship.
I thought I thought shit was about to get pow. I was
No,
about to say,
you
fuck
always
this
want to get freaky.
podcast.
This was not
Cut the tape, nigga.
cut the tape.
But go ahead. What you?
No.
She got CRS too. Can't remember shit. So if she
I
forget
do.
it,
So when
just
I think of stuff,
I
please
shut up.
understand that I'm not over
Therapy.
talking him. I'm not trying to like. I'm not being disrespectful to my husband. He just knows that if I don't get it out, it's going to leave me, or if I have to write it down. But shoot.
And just that fast.
No, I remember. You said something about like yelling in the street. Don't disrespect your spouse outside, or your mate outside in public.
Outside in public
Don't
does not.
argue
That's
in public.
don't also. It does not just mean outside visually where people can see you. Nowadays, things are different, and you're seen everywhere. Social
So
media,
yes.
outside, and when we go ahead, finish, baby.
Like, just don't do that. Like, I see so many, like, don't disrespect your person. Like, don't do that. When I see certain things, it's like cringy to me. Like, I have like maybe one, maybe two people that I trust enough to have a discussion. Like, when I am in need to figure out, am I wrong? Do I need to like fix stuff? I do have those people. Outside of them, you will never know that we're in a bad space or had like a disagreement or something like that. Like, don't do that. You can have a heated discussion. Like if it's like a game night or like a couples thing, we're all friends and we getting into. I'm not saying that, but like to have an blown out like argument where y'all disrespecting each other and name calling or putting your business out, like don't
And
do that
things
type of
happen like
stuff. Like
thing.
we was kids. Like we talked about this before. We grew because we did it. I did it, and thinking back on that type of stuff, I'm so embarrassed that I ever even let people see that side of me. I'm to the point now. I'm embarrassed when our children hear us having a disagreement because nobody should hear it but me and him. And y'all gotta like make sure y'all, if y'all don't take no other note outside of today's discussion, make sure y'all take that in.
And no matter what happened in your relationship too, like you still gotta understand something, especially in a marriage, right? Or in a relationship too. The way people see you treat your spouse is the way they're gonna treat your spouse. If somebody see that you being disrespectful and you talking down and you doing all this crazy stuff about your spouse, no matter whether if they know your business or your spouse did something to, you know what I mean, everybody know or whatever, you might feel like, oh, they disrespected me. But like at the end of the day, man, people gonna treat your spouse like that. And your spouse not gonna tolerate nobody else doing what you do. And honestly, your spouse probably wouldn't tolerate you doing what you do if you wasn't who you were to them. So
Yeah.
don't belittle them like that, whether they a man or a woman. Like don't belittle them to the point where that's how it is, because that's just not cool. And you know what I mean. Especially when y'all got kids together and stuff like that, you're gonna be you're gonna be together, and you have to really sit up there and be able to move forward with that. Move forward with that relationship.
Um, I think it is time for you to give your business tip for today. Do
I
you
want
have
to
a
know.
book?
I do. I do have a book
It's right
somewhere.
here. It's behind your laptop.
I know, but the liquor store hit me.
Yes, come on.
I thought we was gonna get a little free.
No, we're give them your tip for today.
My tip
Let's
is
close out.
I got two
Come
tips: a
on.
sexual tip and a business tip. Sexual. Don't forget the balls. You got it. You got it. See, I knew it.
No, go
I
ahead. Go ahead.
sparked
Go
it.
ahead. Go
Don't
ahead. Go ahead.
forget the balls. Fellas, make sure you aim for the source. And it's another book, but this book that I'm going to give the business joint on, if y'all see his books behind us,
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
Before this final
Oh,
tip, I
see,
did
I knew she
forget
had
my
something.
quote. I forgot my quote for today.
Oh,
Drop and give him 50. Quote for today. Drop and give him 50.
so you mean you telling me put the pool back up?
I think
But
I
it's the
got
thing
enough
though, even
strength
if you
these
don't want to put the
days.
pool back up, like if I put the pool up, you could have somebody else dance on it.
Yeah, but I think I built enough strength these days now that I can probably do what I need to do. But yes, sorry.
Drop and
Quote of
give
the
50
day.
was that
Drop
quote.
and give him 50.
Business tip.
Business tip.
It's actually just a book that I read that's I think is a pretty good book. So this is the 4 Hour Work Week. It's a pretty good book. It shows you he goes through his life cycle about how he wasn't making money, how his business wasn't doing this and stuff like that, and then he wound up, going through certain steps of to build his business up the way that he needed. A big thing that this book talks about is how to structure your work week to where as though you're not really working that much. How to use certain things like virtual assistants overseas and stuff like that to help excel your business, and they don't really cost much. So I think that this is a good book. It is rather lengthy, don't get me wrong, but I think this is a good book that if you pick this book up, the 4 Hour Work Week, this will actually help you excel your business and keep things pushing. This is just one of many. Drop comments if you read this book, if you like this book. Let us know what you think about it. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share, comment. We love it
Support.
all. Show the support.
Because
We
we
support
support
y'all.
all the time.
And if there's anything that you want to hear us talk about, don't forget, man, you can shoot us in the DM
If
at
you want to,
H8te. Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
baby.
If you also want to come, join us, have a discussion, you
You
want
got to be
something to
careful
talk
when you
about
tell people come join us.
for the podcast,
All right. Yeah.
make sure y'all shoot us a DM. If you have topics in mind, make sure you shoot us a DM. Things of
Right.
that nature. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just
So
another
make
post
sure you you can shoot us a DM at H8te Our Love. That's H with and then 8, the number 8. So H8te Our Love on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and coming
Yes.
to all podcast platforms as you see. Shooting us out. So this will be on all your Apple Music, Spotify's, and all that good stuff like that.
Yes, coming soon. But yes, YouTube is available. Make sure y'all go subscribe as well. Okay? Because that's a big thing. So subscribe.
And we're
Comment.
very active. When y'all commenting with us. I don't have virtual assistants running that yet.
Not at all. So y'all literally directly talking to us, and we typically within 5 to 10 minutes we're responding back. So hit us up. Talk to y'all later.